Hello friends, welcome to ELS English Literature Studies with Core Harpreet. Today I will discuss a question that is based on John Keats, that John Keats longed for a little sensation rather than of thoughts. My question is, John Keats longed for a little sensation rather than of thoughts, and you have to justify this statement with examples from John Keats' poems. This is the question, and today I will discuss this question with explanation. If you are interested, you can note down the important points, and if you like my content, please hit the like button for moral support, and you can share it and subscribe to my channel. So let's get started with the answer, right? Friends, John Keats is a poet, and the poetry originates from sense impressions, and all poets are more or less sensuous, right? Sense impressions are the starting point of any poetic process. The poetic process, what is the poetic process? Whatever the poet sees, whatever the poet hears, that excites his emotions, that excites his imagination, that is known as poetic process, right? So poetry originates from sense impression, and whatever excite poet's emotions, that is poetic process. The emotional and imaginative reaction to sense impressions generate poetry. I hope यहाँ तक आपको clear होगा, and if you like it, please hit the like button. And now continue. Keats, we are talking about Keats. Friends, Keats is primarily a sensuous poet, right? Of all the romantic poets, Keats was the most sensuous poet. A sensuous poet like John Keats uses word pictures that helps the reader to understand the sights and sounds in a poem. And John Keats, he is best known for his use of such images that appeal to human senses. For this very reason, he is known as a sensuous poet. Of all the romantic poets, Keats was the most sensuous. His five senses have a deeper and more sincere perception than it is with other romantic poets, right? And we are talking about sensuousness, sensuous poet. It is very important, it is essential to know what is sensuousness, right? कि हम बार बार कह रहे हैं जॉन कीट सेंसुअस पोएट है, तो सेंसुअसनेस होती क्या है? इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू नो. जिनको पता है वेल एंड फाइन, एंड जिनको नहीं पता उनके लिए मैं एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ. एंड इफ़ यू नो, यू कैन स्किप द पार्ट, राइट? द टर्म sensuous, it usually refers to the enjoyment. It refers to delights which we borrow from the senses. It is a way of perception through our five senses. It is a quality in poetry which affects the senses, that is hearing, seeing, touching, smelling and tasting, right? Sensuous poetry, it does not present ideas and philosophical thoughts. It gives delight to the senses, right? That is sensuous poetry. It appeals to our eyes by presenting beautiful and colorful word pictures. It appeals to our ears by its metrical music and musical sounds. It appeals to our nose by arousing the sense of smell. This is sensuousness. This is enjoyment in real sense. This is the meaning of sensuousness, right? Now, Wordsworth, if we talk about Wordsworth here, Wordsworth's imagination is stirred by what he sees and hears in nature. If we talk about Milton, Milton is no less sensitive to the beauty of nature, to the beauty of the flowers in Paradise Lost in a sensuous manner. But Keats' poetry appeals to senses of sight, touch, taste, hearing and smell, right? Here, friends, we can divide Keats' poetry into five types of senses: sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of touch, sense of smell. These are the five types in which we can categorize Keats' poetry, right? First is sense of sight. When we talk about sense of sight, Keats is a painter of words. In a few words, he presents a concrete and solid picture of sensuous beauty. And in his odd integration on. Again, the sense of sight is active, and here I will not discuss odd integration on. That is material related to this is already available on my channel. And friends, if you want to know more about Keats, then you can click on other related videos that are available on my channel, right? Next is, first is sense of sight, that is very active in odd integration on. Then Keats, we can say he is great at mastering this component of poetry and making it a smooth and transitional experience from the real world into the imaginary world, right? Odd integration on. It depicts his love and praise for beauty, right? And the full poem is embodied with sensuous imagery. Here, John Keats presents a beauty of imagination that appeals to our senses and it gives delight to our senses. Odd integration on is different from other odds. How it is different? Because of its two major themes. Number one is the ethics of beauty, and number two is the permanence of art, right? These are the two things that differentiate odd integration on of John Keats from his other odds, right? Keats, he is in the favor of imagination and art because he thinks that these two things provides pleasure to human nature, right? Second point is sense of hearing. Here we can refer to the music of Nightingale, which produces pangs of pain in poet's heart, where he says, "The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown." And in Odd on Gratian, he says, "Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter." Right here, he is talking about sense of hearing. Next is sense of touch. This sense of touch we can feel in the opening lines of La Bella Dame Sans Mercy. I've also discussed this poem, is already discussed. You can check that video also. And in this La Bella Dame Sans Mercy, we can feel in the opening lines when he describes extreme cold. This is the sense of touch when he says, "The sedge is withered from the lake and no birds sing," right? Third is sense of taste. In Ode to Nightingale, John Keats describes different kinds of wine and the ideas of their taste in intoxication. Here he says, "Oh, for a breaker full of the warm south, full of the true, the blushful hypocrite," right? In this, Nightingale, he talks about sense of taste when he talks about different kinds of wine. And the last is sense of smell. Again, I would like to talk about Ode in Nightingale, where the poet cannot see the flowers in darkness. And that is mingled, there is mingled perfume of many flowers. And he says, "I cannot see what flowers at my feet, nor what soft incense hangs upon the boughs, but in embalmed darkness guess each sweet," right? So friends, we can say that Keats' poetry is categorized in five parts: sense of touch, sense of uh, touch, smell, hear, then then taste, then that is hearing, sense of sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, right? His choice of words, his use of metaphors, his use of personification, his work produce a deeper meaning and visualization that appeals to all the senses. In the same way, his characters, they often experience different moods that allow the reader to feel those moods and indulge the psyche into a deeper state. Keats' work brings forth an experience of the realm life or realm of life into the written form, and through his detailed description, his deeper perception of the imaginary, he is able to give the readers an experience with the text that is beyond the pages, right? Friends, throughout his life, Keats was surrounded by devastation, illness, losses, and poverty. He never really had a steady home. He moved from one place to another. And this instability of life, combined with his passion for poetry, and after 1817, he devoted himself totally to poetry. From then until his death, the story of his life is largely the story of the poetry he wrote, right? And his creativity allowed his readers to get a glimpse into his mind and take a part in place in his thought that appeals to the reader's sense. His expressive poems become, we can say, vivid imprints in history. So friends, Keats, we can say Keats is a poet of sensation. His thought is enclosed in sensuousness. He is one of the most notable poets who delightfully practiced the highest elements of romantic poetry, such as imagery, aesthetic language, the creative process of imagination, and the process of shaping imagination, right? I'm repeating myself, that he delightfully practiced the highest elements of romantic poetry. What are the highest elements? Imagery, aesthetic language, then creative process of imagination, and then process of shaping imagination. All these principles, all these we can observe in his poetry, right? He always selects the objects and imagery with the keen eye on the sensuous appeal. And it is not wrong to say that this sensuousness is the principal charm of Keats' poetry. So, friends, this is all about today's topic, and I hope you will like my notes. If you like it, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe my channel. Thanks a lot for watching.